Awesome. So recording started. Welcome everyone to the palace. Today we have, and you have to help me pronounce this because I have a French accent. So, Numism, is that how it is?
Uh, Numis me.
Numismi. Is,
Yes,
is,
sir.
is, yeah, is that how it is? Like a Numismi? See, I don't know. You miss me.
Uh, yeah,
Perfect.
so it's actually a play off of the word numismatics, which is like the study of coins, tokens, currency, and our founder, who's listening in, is I mean this in the politest way possible, is a bit of a nerd about that kind of stuff, and when they came up with this vision, this idea for this project, and the idea of really to participate in this financial revolution that we call DeFi, play on the word numismatics just seemed like a really good fit, for what we're trying to do.
See, now you make me feel terrible because you just said that he's a little bit of a nerd about that, and I completely butchered the name. So I feel bad now.
I'm sure
Okay,
you're forgiven. Don't even worry
I'll,
about
Okay,
it.
good.
I'll get fired later. It's okay.
It's good when you can blame it on English not being your first language, right? So I'm okay. I can get away with it.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So guys, awesome to have you. I've been discussing with Aaron a lot. He's so pumped about your project, and he made me pumped about your project as well. Um, if you guys can kind of introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit of your background story, how you guys came together, why did you choose to start this project, and a little bit of an intro about the project itself.
Sure. I guess, Mister, if you want, I could just do a quick, I guess, run down the list of the team, and then maybe we can go into a
Go for
little
it.
background. Sure. So Misam, who is listening in, he's the founder, and as I mentioned, he comes with a background in banking, finance, and it was those experiences and seeing that inequality, that financial inequality, that so many of us in this space that drives us here. Seeing that firsthand is what really inspired him to come up with the idea for Numisme. Co-founder Jay is a software specialist, and in this space, especially with the blockchain, code is king, and the better you know your code, and the better your code is, the better the product. So he has a lot of experience in that space. Mister, I'll leave your introduction to yourself, and let's see. For me, actually, I'm all over the place. I'm the community manager, but I have time in the army, time in managing communities for other projects, and for me, it's just a love of the space, the culture. Satoshi for me he's like my hero. So it's just always a lot of fun to talk business when it's Web3, DeFi, crypto stuff. And then, Mister, yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And I love talking about the tech too. It doesn't feel like business when we're all geeks here too, right? So it's really fun to introduce these concepts and these technologies to everybody. But for me, I'm Mister. I come from Silicon Valley. I spent the almost 15 years. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Let's just say a decade. That makes me feel old. Spent a decade in tech and, hopping around the Silicon Valley area. But most recently, I found myself just really interested and inspired by not just blockchain, but all of DeFi, all of decentralized finance. So much so that I quit my job, right, and went full on into DeFi around just before the DeFi summer. That bull run that we had, where yield farming was essentially born, and from then, just been working full time in crypto. And, I have experience leading various projects here and there. And really, my role on Numisme is as kind of the project lead. So while we have our founding team, the day-to-day operations and strategic analysis of market and our how our products fit in there, that's pretty much my role, right? So it's project lead is, I guess, a big kind of vague term, but a lot of different hats. Basically, that it applies to the whole team, right? We're a fairly lean team, and we all wear a lot of hats, but we do so because we not only have the experience, but because we are passionate about the space, right? And we love the tech. I'm in it for the tech. I'm sure Pappy's in it for the tech, and we wake up every day excited to help bring, right, all these financial products to the masses, right, to make the ability to have sovereignty over your own wealth, have make that more accessible and make it more fair, right, through various incentive structures that we create. But we can get into that later. But yeah, that's me.
That's awesome. So definitely a lot of passion, definitely a lot of experience in the space. How did you guys meet? Were you guys part of a project together before? Tell us a little bit about how you guys came together.
Yeah, actually, we met, like, I mean, so much of my own personal DeFi journey, my own personal crypto journey, which was we were in the same communities together, right? And so we knew of each other, and we contributed what we could to different projects, and then we found ourselves becoming part of the team on a couple previous projects, the most recent one, which was called Y-Axis. And then we made the switch over to Numisme pretty recently, actually. And yeah, that's pretty much how we met, right, Pat?
Awesome.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's funny where your journey takes you, but making friends in the space is I mean, it's the only way to survive crypto.
Of
It can
course.
be so volatile and so stressful sometimes. So not only making friends, but then finding friends to work with on projects and finding the right people with the right skill sets among those friends is always a nice thing. So yeah, I guess we've known each other for a hot minute now within DeFi.
Nice. And it's funny you say that because when I first started crypto, like my friend was busting uh, always crypto and this and that. And finally, so the first time I put my money into crypto, I didn't have a wallet, I didn't have anything. He said, "Oh, there's this crazy project coming, blah blah blah. I'm gonna enter the pre-sale. Do you want to put half with me?" I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll send you money and you put for both of us. So I sent him a wire transfer and he put the money for both of us. And then we ended up doing like 28x or something crazy like that. That was my first experience in crypto with no wallet, no nothing. I just sent him the money and he did everything for me. And then when I decided, okay, this is amazing, I thought that that's always how it was gonna be, right? But little did I know, I didn't know of all the scams and all the stuff like that. But the reason why I'm saying this is I didn't know that there was like community and stuff like that, like an actual Telegram, and then you join and you meet people. I thought you just put your money somewhere and you're left by yourself, and so I was really surprised to know that there's so much. Um, like interaction and communities and people you can meet from all over the world and stuff like that. So I met some incredible people in my a little bit over a year and a half now in the space. So definitely there's amazing people that I work closely with, and I'm super happy to have found those people, definitely. So it's cool how you guys came together as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's, with the whole community first approach that you see in a lot of crypto and certainly in DeFi. I think it's so cool that you can find all these people and share the same interests. But I think what's even cooler for me personally is just how willing everybody is to help each other, right? Because that's what we're trying to do here, is trying to make sure that everybody can benefit together rather than maybe a small group of people that benefit at the expense of the masses.
Hmm.
And that's really where, that really helped me in my learning along the journey, right? And that concept of do your own research is very much leaning on a community too. So yeah, I'm sure you learned it along the way, right? The whole DYOR thing.
Definitely,
Yeah, you got to go
definitely,
in and keep tabs on it.
and you know what? There's so many people that helped me along the way, and so many people that are still helping me now because it's an ongoing process. You know, there's crypto is so new that there's new there's a lot of innovation still happening. There's a lot of new things happening. So we never stop learning. But you know, when I got into a place where I thought maybe I could help others, and that's kind of why I created this channel as well, because I found myself that I was able to you know, do the research a little bit more for people that don't know how to do their own research, right? And host projects and really discuss the ins and outs of the project and try to do a little bit of my part to help the space. You know, so definitely, it's a interesting journey so far.
That's so good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your project. So obviously I read a lot about you guys, but in your own words, what does the app do? What are you guys bringing to the space?
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Okay, go for it, Pat.
I know you probably have a really good speech for this, Mister. I'll give my part, and then you can always jump in and clarify. So just to kind of clarify, there's two parts to Numisme, and you got to say this in DeFi. There's the mobile app, which we had the mobile app. It was in beta. We brought it off the market. It was an Android and iOS app. We'll be pushing out an updated one later this year. And then we have the D app, which is the one probably most folks are familiar with, which is the DeFi, the decentralized app that we have that we just launched along with all the new services. And so at its core, Numisme is really about bringing, both retail and professional services to to the average retail consumer, even if you're non-crypto native. Our goal is to provide you, enable you, empower you to have access to the kinds of services that truthfully banks are lacking in these days. From the point of sale, we're going to have the mobile app on your phone, the ability to transact with it, like for example, like a Cash App. And even if you were transacting, say, in cash and you wanted to digitize that, one of the things we offer that we think's pretty unique is, the ability to convert that change that you would have received back into a digital currency. And then from that point of sale all the way through to where you have, say, idle money sitting in your wallet, or maybe it would have been sitting in your savings account, to instead offer you competitive services that actually can, say, outpace inflation instead of, what you have right now, which is your money sits idle in a bank. It's earning an average of less than 1%, at least in the United States. I don't know about Canada, but here it's pretty pathetic, honestly. And so, thanks to the wonderful innovations of DeFi, and the ability to bring down those overhead costs and to not be paying those, fat cap bankers, the executives, we remove all that and we bring that money back to the individual investor. And I think that, in a nutshell, that's a big part of it. But Mister, you probably have a more eloquent speech than, or summary of what Numisme is.
I thought that was
No,
pretty eloquent. So
I think so too. You did it. Yeah, you definitely nailed it there, Pap. And just to kind of add to what Big Pappy was saying, that core innovation that we bring to the table is going to be through our mobile app, and that is what's going to enable us to um, to launch our digitized loose change feature, which is essentially allowing us to bring real world utility to the Noom token, right? When you look at the DeFi space right now, there are a fair amount of opportunities to earn yield on your assets, right? Or to borrow or lend on your assets and put your assets to work in that way. But what's really lacking in the DeFi space is real world utility, right? A connection to a physical, say for us, a physical store. And we believe that one of the next big trends in crypto and in DeFi is to really start to bring all this technology that has been built and innovated over just the past, short 2.5 years, um, to bring that to the real world and make sure that we can take advantage of the trend that's coming, which is the integration of DeFi services with real world commerce, right? Because everything that you tend to see in crypto and in DeFi is very much within this walled garden that we call crypto and DeFi, right? There is the utility that is very usually project specific, right? Or it's ecosystem specific. But once you start to venture outside, right, into the real world, the utility of crypto starts to break down. And that is the core innovation that we are building towards, right? And along the way that we're going to be able to support this digital loose change feature and make sure that we can use the mobile app to help folks not just gain sovereignty on their wealth, but to earn at a rate that is more just, more fair, and more equitable. The way that we're going to be able to power this feature is through our various yield optimization technologies. And we essentially call our core yield generating products, we refer to that as our yield engine, right? Our yield engine is what helps us generate all this yield that we pass through to users, to depositors. And that technology is, for example, like our vaults, right? That is what's going to be powering that mobile app and allow the retail masses, the folks that maybe have never touched crypto, maybe know crypto, maybe have never heard of DeFi, or have heard of DeFi are just too scared to get in. Our goal is to onboard that audience, which is many orders of magnitude greater than the number of users within crypto and DeFi today. We want to onboard them into this space, show them what's actually possible when you move away from your bank, what you can actually earn on your wealth, and do it through an app that is simple, that's seamless, and talks about things in regular language, right? No need to talk about, you know, yield optimization, yield strategies, or all the different terms out there, emissions and whatnot. Just bring it down to just everyday level, but use everyday words to deliver a service that is really at the heart of it, DeFi.
That, that sounds awesome, man. That's a really cool concept. Uh, now tell me a little bit. So, the app is to be used right now. Is it only in the US or is it going to be available in other countries as well?
So the app we've taken down, as Mr. Pappy was saying, we've gone to rebuild the app. So the app is in production right now, and when we launch, it'll be launched without any geo restriction.
Okay.
And the first phase of our app relaunch, we should say, is going to focus solely on DeFi services, and that will not be region specific. That will not be region locked. The only caveat to that is we can't help what any local regulations or laws have in place that may, if they ban crypto or ban interacting with DeFi services, we can't help that. But in any other region that doesn't have those bans in place, the app will be fully accessible. Now, the next phase of the app launch will be to deliver that digital loose change functionality where we can turn the change that you get from the store that you usually get in coins and bills to turn that into digital cash in the app and then put that into our DeFi savings account in the app. That phase two version of the launch, that unfortunately, we'll have to do that in a really considered rollout region by region. And we will likely be focusing on North America as our launch region for that phase two. But the immediate, the near term launch, I should say, of the mobile app, phase one, will not be region specific. It'll be available to everyone that has that doesn't have any legal restrictions. It'll be available to anybody that can download an iOS or Android app.
Awesome. And speaking of restrictions, so obviously, and I'm just asking because I don't have a lot of knowledge regarding this. Since you guys will be kind of uh, using the app, and then you can also link your debit card, if I understand correctly. Uh, will you be facing any kind of regulations that you have to deal with, or things like that, because you are dealing with the bank ultimately of the users? Is that anything that you have to look into, that you looked into already? I know it's DeFi, but at the same time, when you connect to an actual debit card, uh, you are going through the banking system, right? So, how does that
Yes.
work exactly?
No, that's a great question. And yeah, we are very mindful and we've been laying the groundwork to make sure that we are compliant. We will, at when we launch the app, for anybody that wants to say deposit funds into the app using their bank account or their credit card or their debit card, we will be using a really light KYC onboarding flow. So
Okay.
essentially, we will have to get some information from the users because that is there are regulations around it, like you say, right? When we have fiat rails and we touch fiat, you do have to meet some of these anti-money laundering compliance um, regulations. So we do have that in mind, and we've already prepared for it, and we're already working with partners that will ensure that we are compliant and that we can connect to your bank account and your debit or credit card.
Awesome. And how will you guys? Obviously, it's it's the space, and people are a little bit paranoid, and giving access to information and credentials and things like that, and banking information. How will you guys kind of find a way to reassure people that you can use our application, everything is audited, or it's safe to use, it's safe to do everything you need to do with our app, and you don't need to worry about
Yeah, absolutely. So you're speaking to kind of safety of user funds and safety of
anything. Yes,
user information, right? So
right,
from
exactly.
a personal identifying information, PII perspective, the safety of user information is important to us, right? We do have to collect some personally identifying information, sure. But what we do is we firewall that with our vendor partners. And so they can take that information and use that to make sure that we are compliant. But we certainly want to make sure that we protect that user information, right?
Yep.
And that I think it also bears mentioning that the only place and the only time that we're going to ask for PII, personal identifying information, is when somebody on the mobile app wants to deposit funds with your bank account or your card, right?
Hmm.
When it comes to our DApp, our Web3 app, which lives on app.numisme.io, we've just launched it just yesterday, really. When it comes to that, there are no requirements to give information. It is really really part of our ethos to make sure that we are as accessible as possible, that we are permissionless, that we are non-custodial, right? So all of that is just is basically open to everyone on app.numisme.io. The only place that we collect information is on the mobile app when only when they want to fund their account using their bank account or their card. Now, from a smart contract safety perspective, we have multiple audits under our belt, right? Our launch on app.numisme.io that happened this week is using battle tested code that has been audited not only by a tier one auditor named Hetchy, but also by a distributed auditing service called Code Arena. And we're really happy with those results because Code Arena, the way they work is they open up our code, right, to their army of independent security analysts and smart contract experts. And what they do is they go through our code and they pick it apart. And they pick it apart for everything from critical exploitable issues all the way down to little things like gas optimization, ways to make sure that our compute overhead and making sure that whenever someone does a transaction with us, that we charge as little gas fees as possible. And they gave us a bunch of feedback, and we patched the code. And so that audited and patched code has been pretty much battle tested for over a year now, and we are redeploying that code with additional optimizations onto app.numisme.io. So from a safety of user funds perspective and safety of user information perspective, we're really, really confident in being able to deliver a solid product.
Amazing. That sounds good. So you guys already did the work. You know how important safety is, and you guys kind of have it covered. Um,
Yeah, and I
Now,
should mention, maybe I can
yeah,
add a little bit there is, we are very, very risk focused, right?
yeah.
And, we are very considerate in the yield strategies we employ, and certainly we are very mindful of which projects, which protocols that we leverage to generate yield. And to that point, we recently actually delayed our launch due to all the fallout from the UST debacle, right, and the knock-on effects of various firms becoming insolvent. And then we started to see some stable coins at risk of depeg, some algo stable coins, and some fractional reserve collateralized stable coins uh, coming into depeg territory. So we took a pause. We didn't want to launch into an environment that we felt was risky. So we took the time to research. We took the time to go into these protocols and just get the information we needed to feel comfortable that we can still use them. For example, MIM, Magic Internet Money, right? The Abracadabra stablecoin.
Hmm.
We wanted to make sure that we were comfortable generating stablecoin yield through them. And so once we got the information, once they opened up the books a little bit and let us let not just us but their communities as well kind of see what their collateral looked like, and any bad debt that they might be exposed to, we got that confidence, right, and we felt really comfortable launching with them as our stablecoin yield strategy partners. So yeah, we're very, very focused on making sure that we deliver that yield reliably, sustainably in any market, bull or bear. We can deliver yield all day, but that only matters as far as that yield is safe. So now we feel it's safe. We do feel comfortable with it. So we decided to launch this week, and that's what we're here to talk about.
And when you say launch, you mean your actual token, right? Not the app. Is that correct?
So the token actually launched months ago at the end of March.
Yeah, I'm
So
aware that I'm aware the token launched, but I thought there was gonna be for some reason I understood that it was gonna be kind of a relaunch or I might be completely off regarding that. But I know your token launched already in March, right?
Yes, so the
Yeah,
token launched in March, and yeah, we can consider this a relaunch. We consider this a new beginning for Numisme,
right,
right? The launch of our yield engine, the launch of essentially our vaults and our staking and our LP program,
right.
that is kind of the quote unquote relaunch that just happened. Yes.
Gotcha, gotcha. Understood. Perfect. That sounds exciting. And obviously, with all the COVID that happened and things like that, people now are so familiar and so comfortable with actually doing online shopping, right? So when you talk about uh, doing the day-to-day shopping you need and going to stores and things like that, how will it work on uh on the web, like on the internet, like for online shoppers? Is there anything that the app can do for that?
So when it comes to online shopping on, say, your desktop, we do have long-term goals to issue debit cards, right, that are linked to Noom and whatever other currencies you have in your wallet currently. That will enable folks to be able to use their crypto holdings to interact with online commerce, right? Whether you want to go buy some shoes or you need to subscribe to Netflix, right? You can use that debit card. That is a long-term goal of ours, and we're not quite ready to speak to that. But I should also mention that we uh, do have plans for our mobile app to eventually have two-way functionality. In other words, have the ability to take the loose change, the physical fiat change, those coins and those bills from the cash register, the cash machine at your store, will have the ability to bring those into the app, right? In a digital
Uh-huh.
form. And then through the next phase of working with our merchant partners, what we want to deliver is the ability to actually pay with the app itself. And that feature is going to enable that crypto first transition, that crypto led transition into a completely cashless world, in a completely fiatless, no, fiat free world. But again, these are longer term goals, right? It does take some time to make sure that we do have the technology that we can integrate with our different merchant partners. They all have different technical requirements and different ways of interacting with their financial systems and accounting systems. But that is eventually the plan, to have full two-way interaction and really enable that commerce perspective.
Amazing, good stuff. And I really like this part of it is basically um the yield strategy. So when there's a better yield strategy based on which asset, then the app will switch to it, right? If I understand correctly. So uh, there's different kind of assets, and then if there's a better one to go with, you can make the change to it, or you can
Yeah.
convert it to it, whether it's a stable coin or your token itself.
Right. And, I think a little bit of clarification there. Our initial launch right now will be very focused on a few set of yield strategies, and those will be tied to each vault that we've deployed. In the next launch that we have, that's just around the corner, we want to launch what we're calling Numisme Pro, and that's an innovative kind of industry first innovation that we're really excited to unveil. And what that entails is Numisme Pro uses what we're calling our canonical vaults. These are our next generation vaults that are multi-asset and multi-strategy. And what that means is, within a certain asset class, whether it's, you know, stable coin assets or ETH-based assets, or maybe they're governance token assets, what what each of those vaults for each asset class can do is accept a variety of different kinds of, for example, stable coins. If we're talking about the stablecoin canonical vault, you can deposit multiple different kinds of stable coins. And what we'll do is, if your stablecoin doesn't match the yield strategy that is currently being used, what we'll do is we'll convert that, wrap it, and stake it wherever we need to be able to deploy your assets into that current yield strategy. And so that's where the multi-asset component comes in. The multi-strategy component is exactly what you just said, Booyah. When we identify a better stablecoin yield strategy, we'll plug that into the stablecoin canonical vault. And what the vault will do at that time is just say, oh, hey, we're switching to this strategy. Oh, hey, I'm going to need different assets. The vault itself will unwind all user asset positions, convert them into the necessary asset to go into the new, better yield strategy, and deploy those assets on behalf of the user. So from a user's perspective, the user experience is essentially a set and forget. You deposit your stablecoins one time, and no matter where the ecosystem goes to, provide better yield opportunities, we can chase those better yield opportunities all for the user. The user doesn't have to do anything. They deposit one time and they just watch their wealth grow, essentially, without having to worry about keeping, on top of all the news. There's so much information out there, right? For one person to know all the different protocols that are out there that they can use, let alone spend the time to wait for transactions to clear and go through the hassle of having to come out of a project and go into a different project. We do all that for the user. So it is one way of looking at it is, we generate passive income, right? The user can deposit one time, sit back, and just watch their funds grow.
Absolutely, which is great, and they don't need to do all the work, and not be sure what to use and when. That's absolutely fantastic. Um, I'm curious to know. So obviously, this is something that is going to be very exciting for people that are already in crypto, but also this can maybe persuade some people that are not in crypto yet that, hey, there's a real utility here, and it can really help, with that. It can help some people that are not familiar with crypto, and kind of make them want to be part of crypto itself. So how do you attract those people outside of the crypto world with your utility that can really help people all over the world, basically?
Yeah, that's a tough one, man, because we're trying to address two very different audiences, right?
Yeah,
Our Web3 app at app.numisme.io, it is more technical and it does take a little bit more understanding. And so we want to make sure that the folks that are more DeFi, more comfortable with DeFi and the concepts and the technologies, we want to make sure that they understand from a technical perspective how we work. At the same time, we do need to make sure that folks that maybe have never touched crypto or have touched crypto, don't know DeFi, all those folks that aren't necessarily comfortable going into DeFi themselves, we need to be able to talk to them and make them comfortable and tell them how it works in a way that's so different, right, from folks that understand and have been using DeFi. And that is a challenge. And the ways that we're trying to get the word out there, the way that we're generating awareness, right, with these various audiences is to go on a multi-channel marketing approach, right? And so when we speak to the retail consumer mass audience, we use words that are more, that are used in just regular everyday talk, right? And we reach them through more traditional marketing channels, whether it's through banner ads or press releases, or the AMA groups like this one, right?
Mm.
That do have the audience that we're looking to talk to. In addition to influencers and real world sponsorships, basically everything that a real world company would do, like say for example a Cash App, to
Yeah.
get the awareness, we do all that. Now on the DeFi side, when we want to speak to our DeFi audience, a more technical message, we go for our crypto channels, and that's very, very much leaning on different various our community, right? Twitter communities, again, like yourself, right? And going into partnerships with different projects and making sure that we can get the word out, not only through our community, but through all these other communities, right? All you really need is 2 degrees of separation to really hit that exponential network effect, to get the word out there. So if we share something, it reaches X amount of people. If everybody that's in our community shares that to their followers, right, you have an exponential growth in reach. And then if everybody that those folks talk to shared it with their followers, we get yet another exponential, right, increase in reach. And that's essentially our strategy for making sure that we spend responsibly on marketing and make our marketing dollars work as hard as possible, right? Because we don't want to just blow dollars out there, right, into the wind. We want to make sure that every dollar we spend on marketing is amplified through community efforts, through partner projects, and certainly, through engaged communities like the Palace.
Absolutely. Good stuff. And are you guys focusing also on kind of content creation to showcase, what you guys are working on, how's the app looks, how it works? Are you guys kind of focusing on that aspect as well?
Actually, yeah, Pap and I just had a great conversation this morning to talk about some of the content that we're producing. And yes, it includes everything from thought leadership pieces on, various trends within crypto, DeFi, and finance. We do have some tutorial videos in the works, some how it works graphics that will make it more, visual, help folks visualize um, different aspects of how the protocol works, whether it's the mobile app or the Web3 app at app.numisme.io. All that kind of content is being generated. And then, of course, we have our third party content through our influencers, and we do have a few that are quite interested in this, and we've been working with them to make sure that the content they generate and promote is accurate, and that it delivers the message to that specific audience in the way we need it to.
Perfect. Um, let's talk a little bit about the staking aspect of the project as well. So, when you talk a little bit about your relaunch, is the staking component also kind of gonna be upgraded or something like that, or it's the current staking that's already being done?
Yeah, so we just launched with staking, and
Okay.
actually, the way our staking works is pretty cool. Maybe I should explain it a little bit here. Our staking, the tokenomics around the way we provide staking incentives will remain, right? We launched it now. It'll be the same with NumisMe Pro. It'll be the same when we launch our PayMe self-repaying loans. And the way that works is we're quite, maybe I should back up a little bit. We're really sensitive to the a lot of the FUD that's out there around DeFi, right? That it's unsustainable, that it's Ponzi-nomics, right? And for some projects out there, this is true, right? Because a lot of the token price it's so dependent on making sure that more and more new users come in to offset all the token selling that happens, right? Because usually when you stake with these other projects, they give you their project token, right? And the only way that you can basically realize the APR, the return that you're getting on your staking investment, is to sell that token. So what
Yeah, it's
happens
and
is,
it's basically based on it's kind of dependent on the project doing well, right?
and it's dependent on the project doing well, and it's
Yeah,
highly dependent on more users buying the token than there are users selling the token, right?
right.
And that just creates an unstable environment, and you can do really well for a certain period of time, but at some point, right, there's going to be a fall off, right, in growth, and when that happens, token price starts to basically just keep on dumping. And we have created a hybrid emissions structure that will incentivize against that. And the way we do that is we give Noom token. That is our token. The Noom is me token is called Noom, and Nume. And we give that token as rewards for folks that are that are depositing into our vaults or providing liquidity into our liquidity pool on Uniswap. And those rewards, we're 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 saying, hey, instead of selling those rewards, why don't you compound those rewards? Why don't you earn extra by staking your Noom token? Because by staking your Noom token, what we do is we give ETH as the reward for Noom staking. So essentially, imagine this scenario. If somebody were to go into our ETH vault, right? The ETH vault they would earn Noom token on. They can take the Noom token, stake it, and earn ETH against that. And that ETH they can go put into the ETH vault again, earn even more Noom token, stake that, earn more ETH, and put it back into the vault. So we're creating this structure where it's more beneficial to the user instead of selling their token at that one point in time and locking in whatever return that delivers based on token price. Why do that at one time? Why not just stake your Noom token and create a passive income stream where you're earning ETH? And the beauty of that is we won't we won't be seeing that sell pressure, right? We won't be seeing so many tokens getting sold off. Of course, some folks will prefer to sell their token, and that's totally fine. That is their prerogative. That's their capital. They can do what they want with it. But if they want to supercharge their returns, right, and actually get exposed to ETH rewards, what that does for us is it reduces the sell pressure on the token, right? And we generate revenue in so many different ways. We generate revenue through the yield that goes through our vaults. We generate yield when we launch our Pay Me self-repaying loans. We'll generate some revenue based off of our loans. We generate revenue through our token reflections tax, and we also generate revenue through our merchant partners with the digital loose change integration, which is a little bit further down our roadmap. Um, but really, the focus for us is not just safety of user funds and information, but it is revenue. It's generating revenue because that is what makes a business model, right? And at the end of the day, all protocols should be looking at themselves as businesses. And what a business should be focused on is making sure that you are generating sufficient revenue to sustain the project in the long term, right? And one of the beauties of the reflection tax system the way we use it is that it provides the project with the revenue it needs to operate, to do marketing, to do development, right? All the different bills we have to pay for our infrastructure. It gives us that revenue without us having to sell our own token. So not only are we removing users from, you know, becoming sell pressure on the token, we've removed the project from having to sell the token, and that is sometimes one of the largest sources of sell pressure, right, on a token. So we're essentially, we're focused on delivering that long-term value through the token to users. And we think this hybrid structure of Noom emissions, Noom rewards plus ETH rewards is the way to do it. And
Yeah,
that's by staking Noom. So yeah, and
yeah,
that's available today.
and that's great. And I can imagine you guys have kind of a staking platform.
Yes, we have our own staking platform. So you can, if you go to app.numisme.io, you'll see staking at the top. And in addition, there are so many different, use cases for the Noom token. One of them is to stake it for your revenue share, right? But one of the cool things we do with our staking product is offer folks the ability to boost their yield on the vault. So vault
Mhm.
users that, for example, go into our stablecoin vault will have a 1x APR, right? That's just the baseline APR that they get, which is a mix of the yield strategy APR plus the rewards that we give on top. Now, when they buy Noom or take their Noom rewards and go stake it, what that does is it gives the user the ability to boost their rewards APR up to 2.5x. So that right there is a benefit number one. Then we give them the ability with their staked Noom to vote to send additional Noom token rewards to the vault, which additionally increases the rewards APR. And on top of all that, you earn the revenue share in the form of ETH. And all the while, don't forget that anybody that's holding Noom, whether it's in their wallet, it's in the staking, wherever the Noom is, we do provide 4% growth of their Noom um, to back to every Noom holder, and that's based off of the reflections tax. 4% of all transactions get sent and distributed back to Noom holders and Noom stakers. So there are all these different ways that you can optimize how much you're earning, not just on your Noom, but say on your stablecoin, on your ETH, whatever other assets we support.
That sounds good. And the app itself, is there any tracker that's going to be available, also to see how much you actually made from shopping, the shopping itself, but also for the staking? And will you be able to kind of purchase Noom with the app as well?
Yes, so with the mobile app, yes, you can purchase the Noom directly on the app, whether you want to do it by transferring some USDC or ETH into the app from another wallet, or you want to fund it with fiat, but with your credit card or your bank account. We enable the buying of Noom on the mobile app, and we also have the ability to. We offer the ability to buy Noom on the open market through Uniswap, right? And
Mhm.
that is our primary AMM that we use.
Yeah.
And there you can purchase however you need to. Folks that are used to using Uniswap probably doesn't need much explaining. But essentially, you just connect your wallet and you swap your ETH, for example, for Noom. Um, so that in that way you can purchase the Noom. Now, as far as being able to track the Web3 app, again at app.numisme.io, it does track your rewards. So you'll see in real time your rewards ticking up and up and up. And because we just launched, our APRs are pretty high. We have 4 or 5 figure APRs right now. And that's just because it's so early until we grow some TVL, right? That APR will stay fairly high. That is that's the rate at which you earn your Noom tokens. And that's all tracked by the app. You can see it tick up, second by second, minute by minute. Um, and we'll soon have a fully built out like dashboard, right? We're working with a developer to build out a Dune dashboard that'll track not only the rewards, but more importantly, almost in some ways, the health of the project, right? How much TVL we have, how much revenue we're generating through various sources, and how much revenue is getting shared back. All those kinds of things will be built into the dashboard. We're just working on it right now, and plan to deliver that pretty soon.
Beautiful. That sounds great. One And I'm just scrolling down your your website. There's a lot of features, a lot of components to your project. So feel free to let me know if I'm moving too fast or um. So
Oh yeah, no, yeah, please continue.
okay. One thing I wanted to discuss is the borrow feature here. If you can expand on that a little bit more.
Yeah, we're really, really excited about that. And we've recently rebranded our borrow feature to be called Pay Me. It's a it's kind of a fun take on our name, right?
Yeah,
We're Noom is
yeah.
me. And so, we have our self-repaying loans. We want to call that Pay Me. And the way that works is we offer collateralized loans, and we offer them for free. So with these free loans, essentially the reason that they're free is because what we offer is the ability for users to bring us their capital, say in the form of stablecoin, right? And in that example, let's say you bring us $100 of stablecoin. What we do is we take that stablecoin, we deposit it into our Pay Me Loans product, and immediately we can issue up to 60% of the value of that deposit as stablecoin right back to the user instantly. And so the user deposits $100 and they can take out $60 as a loan, right? That
Mhm.
loan they can do whatever they want with, either buy more Noom or go buy some shoes or whatever you need to. We lock up the initial $100 and we use our yield engine, which is our vaults. We use our yield engine to generate yield on that $100, and we pay back the loan. That $60 loan that they got, we pay it back for the user automatically, all through smart contracts. And at the
Uh,
end, if it takes about 3 years to pay that back, really, it depends on how much they take out. If they take out less than $60 off a $100 deposit, we can pay it back faster. But let's just say they take out $60. Within about 3 years, we'll have paid off the loan for the user, and the user gets the $100 back. So essentially, in 3 years' time, what they have is not $100, they've grown that $100 to $160. And that scales to $1,000, $100,000, $1 million, right? And so for those kinds of folks that are more interested in getting that yield essentially upfront, what they could have earned over the course of 3 years, we give that to you right now. That I think is super cool because you can do whatever you want with that loan that you get, right? Again, if you want to buy the car, if you want to buy more crypto, if you need some shoes, whatever you need to do, you might as well do it and do it for free because at the end of the loan period, we give you your initial deposit back. It just takes a little bit of time.
that's
I hope
awesome.
that makes sense.
That's a really really cool concept. Have you seen that in the space before?
Yeah, there are tons of different ways to do borrowing against your crypto assets out there.
Okay.
And most of those ways come with interest fees, right? They come with withdrawal fees. They come with more, the scariest thing for me, in my opinion, is liquidation risk, right? So if the value of your asset drops too low, all of a sudden the loan you took out is not just you have to repay back the loan, but they take all your deposit, and that's not fair. That's not cool, right? The way we do it is there's no liquidation risk, there's no interest payments. It's completely just you deposit, you get your loan, and you come back in a little bit of time and you get your deposit back. No liquidation risk. And there are folks that do no liquidation self-repaying loans out there. Now, the difference with them is we offer lower uh, we feature a much lower withdrawal fee, and it's essentially, we're talking about like a tenth of 1%. But we also offer a higher LTV, which is a loan to value ratio. Everybody else that's doing this self-repaying loan, there are only a handful of folks, but those folks are offering 50% LTV. We offer 60% LTV. And the reason we're able to do that is because we all already have our in-house yield engine built. And so rather than having to go out and search for yield, and lose some yield along the way because, other protocols have to take their cut, We generate that yield natively, and so we can generate more yield, which means not only we can offer a higher LTV, but we can repay those loans back for the user more quickly, faster than our competitors can.
That sounds really really awesome. I like the concept. I like the system behind it. Um, we
Well, thank
can.
you. Yeah, we're really excited. And I should mention, that product is also audited. It's also audited by Code Arena C4, which is really our preferred audit partner at this point because they're just
Okay.
so comprehensive. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's ready to go. We're just waiting for the right time to launch.
I
Yeah, and
I I, I just wish I was a fly on the wall when you guys kind of like sat down and discussed everything about the project and what you're gonna be integrating, and it seems like you guys really chose the right kind of features to really push Neum and make sure that people can benefit from it. Investors for the long term. When it comes to kind of a passive income, also with the staking, with the borrowing feature, that it seems like it all works together, which is really cool.
yeah. The when I think about Numis Me, we're really truly trying to bring something meaningful to the market. Being an investor, there's opportunity everywhere, even in meme coins, even in I'm not a fan of it, right? But like pump and dumps, there's a million ways to make money out there. But what we're trying to build is something that I haven't seen often attempted in the space, which is to really remove that friction, that the friction to onboarding the space for the average retail consumer, because that is where those are the people that are going to benefit from this the most, right? If you're in DeFi and you understand the fundamentals of DeFi, and you've been in the space a while, you can already take advantage of it. But there's a lot of people that it may always be a little bit difficult for them. And I'm thinking of like my say my older aunts or uncles, that aren't so tech savvy, but they understand things like a Cash App or a Pay App or a mobile app, right? Those are usually built, to cater to the lowest denominator in terms of like technical prowess. And so, this really, when you talk about the model and how much thought and energy was put into this, we really did try to pick the best of breed, the best ideas in the space, and try to innovate on those. And I'm excited. Right now everyone knows it's a bear market, and I call it the builders market, because if you're still here and you're still you're trying to still build out your product, then you're probably the protocol, the team, the community that's gonna survive and succeed and thrive in the next bull market. But I'm really
Yeah,
excited
no, that.
when we go ahead, Mister.
Oh no, sorry to cut you off. I think you make a really good point there about the fact that while other projects are turning down their emissions, right? They're putting withdrawal limits out there, and they're struggling to, stay afloat in this bear market. We are in the fortunate position to be fresh, right? We have fresh token supply. We don't need, we are conservative with our emissions, but we have no need to turn down our emissions, and we continue to build. And to Pappy's point, the best, the strongest, the biggest projects out there, they were all forged in a bear market. They were building while others were struggling. And as soon as that bull market, that bull run kicked off, they were positioned to take full advantage of that, right? And that's what we're doing. And we have the development team to do everything. Like we could do everything that you see out there in DeFi. But to your point, Booyah, we really made sure that our product mix is all aligned with our vision, which is to create a sustainable DeFi protocol that is revenue focused and that we deliver yield reliably and sustainably in any market. And so because of that, one of the sayings out there, it's it's less important, to have a poker analogy, right? It's less important which hands you play, and it's more important which hands you don't play, right? because we could do everything, but that's not necessarily going to mean that we'll be successful. Rather than, playing every hand, we've selected a specific certain set of hands that we think aligns with our vision and will deliver that value through the token, through yield, right, through the loans to our users.
I'm sorry, I think I was muted. Sorry. No, that sounds phenomenal, and you guys really seem like you care about investors as well, and I can tell from the way you're speaking about everything, and as much as you care about investors, I feel like you really care about the success of your project as well, and you guys have put tons of efforts into it and a lot of thought into it as well. So definitely kudos on my end, man. I'm excited to see what the future brings, and I'm sure you have plenty of other ideas in mind that maybe you haven't discussed yet or have discussed, but you're not revealing everything just yet. But I'm sure there's a lot to be done, especially when you have a functioning app, a functioning project. You can add to it in the future, right? I think things kind of it makes it easier for features to be added as time goes, right? So I'm sure you guys will have tons of ideas. If you don't already have some, I'm sure there's a lot that you will be announcing in the future as well as things grow.
Well, no, thank you. That's it's so good to hear, have your support there and hear those words. Really appreciate it because, man, it's not easy to build in any market, let alone build in a bear market. And so it really feels good to get that validation. And just to close off on your point about all the different things that are coming. Yes, there are things we can't talk about just yet. There are things we prefer not to talk about as well. But for the stuff that we are talking about in terms of our roadmap, you can see all that stuff in the blog post that I linked. At the top, you can see kind of where we are in delivering various products and the state of readiness for each of those products. But if you go down closer to the bottom, we also have our roadmap graphic there that really shows what our technical development roadmap looks like and various features that we are talking about now. But yep, you're right. We do have stuff that we can't and don't want to talk about just yet. And yeah, we just want to make sure that, we can create some marketing moments around that stuff. So yeah, forgive us if we keep those close to vest for now.
No, of course you have to. You have to.
Yes, you need a little bit of little
Of
secret
course,
sauce, but
that's the
yeah.
best, and it creates kind of a catalyst effect on the project as well when those things are revealed down the road. So showing all your cards is never a good idea. Um, so I don't
We
want
can
to. Yeah,
we can say it's going to be a very big summer for this project.
absolutely. I can imagine that, and uh, I don't want to go through your entire roadmap, but maybe just tell us a little bit like the key uh, milestones or things that you want investors to know, the community to know that will be coming up, things that you want them to keep in mind for the near to long future.
Yeah, so we've just closed out phase one of our roadmap, and that is basically culminating with the launch of our vaults, our staking, and our LP program. So we are embarking on phase two, which we're calling the new Numisme, right? It's both the vision of having the digital loose change functionality with the underlying yield engine that we've just launched. And with within phase two, what we'll see is very shortly, we'll launch our self-repaying loans, our pay me loans. We'll have our analytics live through the dashboard that we discussed earlier. And not too long after that, we'll have our Numisme Pro, our next generation canonical vaults, the multi-asset, multi-strategy vaults. Those will go live in phase two, as well as the first version of our new Numisme mobile app on iOS and Android. So that will all happen within phase two. And phase 3 and phase 4, I see that you're sharing the blog post there. The reason that they're grayed out a little bit is because those are a little bit further away. So we really want to focus on where we are now, which is phase 2. Phase 3 will bring merchant integration online. That's where the digital loose change, the ability to get your fiat change from stores back into the app in digital form. We'll have partnerships with in-store kiosks, for example. And at that point, once we have those merchant integrations, we will build that into the mobile app and relaunch the mobile app again with that added functionality. And then in phase 4, that's long term, and we have a bunch of ideas down there. The things we can talk about right now, though, is the two-way right payments that we talked about with the app. Use it to pay for your groceries in the store. The ability to use a debit card if you don't want to use the app for, let's say, your online shopping, budgeting tools, and insurance products, and a bunch of other stuff, again, that we're kind of keeping in secret for now. But that's pretty much what it looks like. We have a bunch of stuff in the pipeline, and we're really, really excited to get those out the door, especially because we're so close. Some of these are already done and just waiting for final optimization and testing and then relaunch. Some of them are in late stage development, but these are all in the works, and it's like we just can't say there aren't enough minutes in an AMA and there aren't enough hours in the day to really talk about this stuff, but hopefully we've
Well,
done a little bit of justice to it.
there's enough minutes. I'm with you guys, so I'm just saying as much as you wanna as you wanna talk, we're here. You can take your time discussing anything, but definitely there's a lot to be discussed for sure. Um,
And
I
if
wanted
I
to
could mention one more thing, actually, sorry,
yeah.
the one thing that we haven't really touched on here is our LP program, and that's a pretty innovative program. We're not aware of anybody else that has done this or is doing this. We've just launched our beta invite only LP double up program, and it's invite only for now, just because we want to make sure that we test the program and that we only use the program with folks that we know for now, and we'll eventually open it up to the world. But what the LP double up program is exactly like it sounds. We double your LP position. Like for a normal liquidity provider that wants to provide funds in our Uniswap pool, what they would usually do is, like, let's say they have 100 ETH, right? They would
Yeah.
put their 100 ETH into Uniswap and deposit into the pool. And what happens is half of that ETH, 50 of that ETH gets split off and turned into, for us, into Noom token. And then it gets paired up, right? You have 50 ETH and then 50 ETH worth of Noom. They get paired up and go into the liquidity pool. And for those regular liquidity providers, they are earning yield in the form of Noom token, which is available today. But they earn it against the position that is 100 ETH in value, right? Because again, they have to take the 100 ETH, 50 gets split up into Noom, and they have 50-50 for 100 total. What we're saying is we want to double your LP position. We want to help folks earn double the rewards, double the yield on their liquidity position by giving the Noom to the user for free. And so what we do is we say, hey, bring us your 100 ETH, put it into our LP double up smart contract, or authorize our smart contract to deploy those funds. And what the smart contract will do is say, hey, thanks for the 100 ETH. Let me go bring 100 ETH worth of Noom and pair it up for you. And now what you have is 100 ETH plus 100 ETH worth of Noom for a total LP position of 200 ETH worth of liquidity. And you earn the rewards, you earn that yield against the 200 ETH position instead of a 100 ETH position. So it's double. And anybody in that LP double up program can take all the rewards, right? As the rewards come in, like I said, they tick up second by second, minute by minute. They can do whatever they want with those rewards. When they need to pull out withdraw from the liquidity pool, what we do is we just say, hey, simple math, we're just going to take the position and cut it in half. We're going to give you back whatever your position is, half in ETH and half in Noom. And at that point, hopefully they stake their Noom, but they can do whatever they want with their Noom at that point. So yeah, it's a pretty cool program. If you're looking to supercharge your APR on, say, ETH, that's a great way to do it.
Another way to earn with New Miss Me, which is great. Thank you for, and I don't think it's on your website or on your white paper yet, that function, right?
It is not. It's a new program we've just launched, and because it's
Perfect.
beta, we're not going too big with it. But I just want to make sure everybody is that's on this call and maybe watching the recording. Hit us up. We whether it's on app.newmisme.io, we have a little clickable link that will take you to the application form, or you're reading the blog post. We say you can apply in the blog post and click that link. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love for you to apply. If you're interested in the program, please, come to us. Feel free to DM us on Discord or Telegram. We can get you into the program. We just need the application first.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
not just the program, and even just not investing. We just like you, sir. We have our community and we have our events that we like to host. And if anyone's looking for another place to hang out in the crypto space, is every Thursday we have game night, which I'm just getting absolutely slaughtered at poker, but
yeah, we're playing poker, Booyah. Like if you like poker or your community likes poker, we'd love to have you in our
Oh
weekly
man,
poker nights.
I love it. I love it. I play I play pretty often actually, so would love to join that.
Oh, nice.
Oh man,
We'll
pop
get
in another place for you to lose your money too.
of course.
Booty is going to be the next
Yeah,
next all-in winner.
I am here. My singular purpose is here to pump everyone's bags. I got all the chips.
That's funny. That's really good. Yeah, so no, that sounds awesome, and you guys are definitely focused on the community. What's been the what's been the community feedback so far? Are people excited? Are people supportive? Do they share any feedback?
I think a lot of my impression is, honestly, objectively, we have a lot of excitement in the community, and it's a small community, and we're a newer project, certainly. But for folks that read the roadmap and they see what we're trying to achieve, and more importantly, if within their life experience they've had to struggle with the financial inequality that many of us have, it really resonates. We're trying to make a difference in this space, not just to be another copy paste DeFi project that does some yield farming or whatever. We really want to make a difference. And I think when you see that and you see where we're trying to take things, you can't help but be excited. And that's why I'm here. It's why I signed up with these guys.
Yeah, and I really mean it when I'm excited as well. Just hearing how passionate you guys are and everything that you guys have worked on already and what you guys will be working on in the future. Definitely super exciting. I wanted to before we kind of summarize and maybe discuss anything that we didn't really touch base on yet. I wanted to touch base on your tokenomics. So it's 9% buying and selling. Is that correct? So 4% to holder rewards, 1% liquidity pool, 3% for the marketing and the outreach, and then 1% app development. So that's for buying and selling the token, right?
Yes, and one of the 1% that goes to the LP, that is forever, right? We
Yeah.
cannot ever touch those because once that 1% goes into our liquidity pool, we burn the LP tokens. So we can't ever withdraw those funds. So what that does is anybody that interacts with the token, they are supporting the long-term health of the project by making sure that we have an ever-growing liquidity pool, which stabilizes token price, which makes it so that the price can't move as quickly with small buys and sells. And while that might be kind of slow down the upward movement once our liquidity pool gets to a certain size, it also makes sure that we can't that the price doesn't retrace, right? And that's a healthy place to be, right? The token price should not be at the whim of day traders, right? They should not be at the whim of speculators and mercenary capital. We want to make sure that the token price reflects true value and the not just the DeFi and the crypto utility, but also the real world utility that we're building into the new token. So that 1% that goes into LP, that is forever. And just to clarify, the 1% that goes into our development fund and the 3% that goes into our marketing fund, those are all those all help us maintain and run the project, as well as share that revenue. That is the revenue that we share back to Noom stakers, right? And again, what that does is it makes it so folks aren't selling their Noom token, but just as important as that, it makes it so the project doesn't have to sell Noom token, right? So yeah, we're just looking to protect user funds, not just from a smart contract safety perspective, but also from a value accrual perspective. Make sure that the price is stable, make sure that we continue to support the price rather than hurt the token price.
Absolutely, sounds great. And from what I can see, so you guys are not getting compensated from the tax itself. You guys have some token allocation, which is 5%. So this is how you're saying we're here for the long run. We're gonna take this far. So this is kind of your way that you found to make some money out of everything in the long term.
Yeah, and those allocations are locked and they vest and they have a 2-year vesting schedule. So
Yeah,
we're in it for the long term. There's nothing we can do, even if we wanted to, we can't access our allocations right now. So
absolutely. Let me ask you now, and that's just because I'm curious. Is Did you guys find a way to kind of make money for yourself through your utility at all?
through our DeFi utility, well, through both our DeFi and our real world utility, we have built revenue streams out of
Okay.
those. And from a DeFi perspective, again, we earn revenue through the reflection stacks, but we also generate revenue off of our vault yield, right? So all the yield
Okay.
that we generate for users, we take a small piece of that
And
and
that's
we
what I
bring
wanted to
that.
make sure you do. I didn't want to say it, but I was hoping you would say that.
Well, yeah. Oh, I'm glad you're hoping. It's a little bit of a touchy subject, but at the end of the day,
It's
we're a
really not,
business.
and I don't like when I don't like when investors think of it as a bad thing. I think of it as a great thing. I think of it as you know the team is getting compensated and they're making money that way. Their heart is in it. They're gonna be working on it because they see some return. You're not gonna tell me that you're working for free. I don't trust teams that are working for free. Teams that are like, no, we have no tokens and we take no percentage. So how much are you really committed to this? You understand? So for me,
And what are they in
I
it
like when
for?
teams are telling me, yes, we're making money from here, we're making money from here. I love this because for me, it means that, hey, you guys, you won't disappear in a month, you know?
Yeah,
There's a
exactly. And you have
true
to.
business model in place, and on top of it, I mean, the incentive structure is there all across the board for everybody getting involved. Personally, I'm looking forward to using the loans when maybe I can take out a loan and jump into the LP double up with it.
I'll
Yeah,
take
Even,
a
Mr.
loan.
oh, that's a good idea. Oh,
I'll
Yeah,
take a loan from multiple usernames and wallets.
yeah, Mr.
you
is
know what, man? You don't have to. You can do multiple loans on the same wallet. That's
No, but
fine.
I don't want you guys to think, hey, Booyah is taking too much.
is one of the things we did in the past, and Mr. I know I'm not really it's not really my forte, but I believe we part of the compensation plan for the team to to keep them focused, right, is, and to incentivize good work, is that part of the compensation is in the tokens invested. And what that does is that ensures that people who accept those kind of terms, right, to be partially or even fully compensated in the native token, that they're aligned with the project, that they believe in the vision, they're going to stick around, and they're going to do their best, because now it affects, their wallets.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of that vision, I unfortunately missed like the first half of the AMA. I'm super sorry to everybody, but so I'm not sure how much was touched up on the actual real world use case side of the retail app. But speaking of vision, I don't know if you guys have been into many stores where you're seeing the signs on the counters that they're out of change, but I've started talking to these people every time I see them or hear people complaining about the change shortage. And every time I explain this concept of receiving that physical change back into a mobile wallet just by scanning it, they're blown away by it. And so seeing that kind of response, like face to face, gives me huge confidence in just the retail portion of it. And the DeFi aspects that have come into play through the merger of this with Yaxi, and through onboarding people like Poppy and Mister, who are straight DeFi kings, I might add, has really created this overreaching, overarching powerhouse combination of long-term potential vision of this project that's going to survive not just bear times, but flourish in those bullish times.
Absolutely. Hey, Aaron. Thank you for joining, and my dear friend. This AMA is possible because of you, and I'm so glad you brought this team here. With everything that we've been discussing. I mean, it's been an hour and a half. Usually after an hour, people kind of tend to be like, okay. Starting to leave. But we still have 145 people in here, which is amazing. That way, people see that the people are really excited about what Mister and Poppy are doing, which is awesome, man. So thank you so much, Aaron, for making this possible today.
We were super happy to be here with you, Booyah. I'm really happy that we finally made it through the door. We've had so much development going on. These guys have been so busy.
No, I know, and you've been telling me, things will move a little bit later and things like that. But now I kind of understood from the AMA that the team really wanted everything to be as they wanted it in order to proceed with everything. So it's better to have that peace of mind that you worked on everything, that you have everything ready. That way you can release everything like the way you want it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And for us, it's better to have that stress up front, and then once you know that you've covered all your bases, it's
Of
less
course.
stressful, once you get it out the door. Unfortunately for me, I'm in constant launch mode, so I'm constantly under pressure and stressed. But we take on that stress so that none of our users have to take on that stress, right?
Definitely.
And that's what we're trying to do. That's a user experience that we think should be the norm in DeFi.
Yeah, and that says a lot about you guys, definitely. So, is there anything that we didn't touch base on that we need to look into?
I think we covered it all. Maybe Aaron, do you want to mention the contest, the giveaway that we're doing?
Oh yeah. If, we kind of want to select a person from each of our socials, like maybe one from Discord, one from Telegram, one from Twitter, from the Palace community that made it into our socials. We'll go ahead and we want to give some noom out. So feel free to please join our Discord, Telegram, Twitter, and we'll find someone from each of those spaces and send them at random and send them a little noom treat. We'll connect with them.
How much are we giving away?
Let's do 1,000 noom to a Twitter follower, and 500 noom to a Discord joiner, 500 to a Telegram.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Maybe we can kind of do a post and then like give 24 hours or something like that. Would that be okay with you guys?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I kind of want to give the chance for also people that will take the time to listen to the recording as well to be able to participate, right? I know right now there's a lot of people in Canada as well, and it's a day off in Canada, so many of them couldn't join today. And also it's Friday, right? So people in Europe right now, it's already like evening time, so I'm sure they're having dinner with their families or they're out. But again, we still have around 145 people in here, but I'm sure a lot of people will be listening to the recording once I post it. So if we can give that maybe 24-hour uh, contest, that would be awesome.
Yeah, we'd be happy to do that for you. We're
Awesome.
super looking forward to. I do want to say like you just remember, guys, this is a project that is going to be part of the long, arduous process of reaching a point where we're getting closer to cashless societies. So the longevity in this vision of helping facilitate that transition is quite long term. If you just think about how long that's actually going to take to reach that point, and who's where do you want that concentration of wealth and power to go? Into the realm of DeFi, or into governments creating digital currencies and whatnot. So definitely a good alternative going into the future. Gives people a lot more control and power over their financial opportunities and freedoms, and super long lasting vision.
Absolutely. Wow, sounds incredible. Uh, there's a few questions uh, that are in the chat. If you don't mind me asking it. So I didn't read it, so I'm just gonna read it with you guys. So during these times, will there be a multi-chain platform? Will there be so a multi-chain platform is an obligation to be considered a competitive project. Can you explain how you can guarantee the lowest risk or to avoid from anything involving not good oh my god. Okay, so basically the question is how can you guarantee the safety on the platform and stuff like that, and we kind of touched based on that earlier with everything that you're doing in terms of knowing the regulations and also auditing the auditing with your auditing partner. I forgot who you mentioned, but that's all
Yeah.
been answered from the beginning of the EMA.
Yeah, and just to kind of reassure that question asker, we do intend to Numis Me Pro, for example, will likely be launched on Arbitrum because the fees and time to finality and just speed of transactions is faster there, and we do need to make sure that we provide yield opportunities for folks that are not just on the Ethereum mainnet, right? Not just on Ethereum blockchain, but other blockchains. And to that point, we're very focused on layer zero. We're very focused on, IBC, like interblockchain, right? And while we won't be just launching on every chain out there, because it really doesn't make sense for us to do that. What does make sense is for us to ask the community and ask where they want to, which chain they want to invest their money on, right? And as long as there's sufficient ecosystem on a chain and there's sufficient demand, and we can be assured that the time and work we put in to deploy onto a new chain will be a net positive revenue opportunity for us, it's quite easy for us to deploy on new chains. And the way we ensure safety and mitigate risk there is the same approach that we've taken on Ethereum mainnet. And that's, making sure that we go deep into protocols. We're in those communities. We have discussions with those projects and make sure that those projects, those protocols that we leverage, make sure that they're healthy, make sure that they're as safe as we can vet them to be. um, then we back that up with smart contract safety through multiple audits, especially through code arena, that's C4, And we are soon, that's something I didn't speak to in the roadmap, but we will be enrolling in the ImmuneFi smart contract bounty system. So all our smart contracts will be constantly scrutinized, and if somebody finds an issue, whether it's with a bridge contract for another blockchain, or another L2 even, um, or it's a potential issue with one of our core contracts, we'll incentivize folks through these bounties to make sure that they rather than take advantage of a potential exploit themselves, that they bubble it up to us, let us make sure that we know about it, they can earn the bounty, and we can fix whatever needs to be fixed. And then finally, I think to the point of making sure that we are protecting user funds. We every move we make, we take the time to analyze, right? And that does mean that we move a bit slower than folks that are in the DeFi space might be used to, right? And we do take flack for that. I'll be honest, right? People want to see constant launches. They want to see fast movement. But really, if you look at the space now, the result of all that fast movement and FOMO culture has been pretty detrimental to the space. And things that work in an up-only market, when the tide goes out, you start to see who's not wearing shorts, right? And that's what we're seeing today. And that's what those learnings are, what we're incorporating. And because of that, we do move slower than others. But that slowness should be hopefully a sign of confidence for folks, because we really think through things. We really make sure that we're doing the right thing, because at the end of the day, the reason we take on the stress instead of the user is to make sure that, sure, they have a good user experience, but it's to make sure that we do our best to protect user funds. We do not take that lightly. We know the impact of what losing funds can mean on people's lives. And just hearing the horror stories from the UST DPEG, that it speaks to me so deeply that not only are we on a mission since the very beginning to help people, right? But to hear these stories of lives that get destroyed by compromised funds, that's just something I don't think we could live with at the end of the day. So we do everything so that we can sleep at night.
Exactly, and for a long-term project, those things are essential. So at the end of the day, it's for the benefit of the project, of its investors, and you guys that have been working so hard on this. So absolutely, I'm with you on this. Um, Another question, and I hope that answers your question. Whoever asked, I can't remember. Uh, will Another question here. So will you be sticking to the same taxes throughout your project? So meaning that as projects grow, sometimes they tend to lower the tax at some point, or even putting it at 0% eventually. So yeah, will do you guys already have this answer, or will you see when the time comes? Or
Yeah, so we're so early, right? That it's important that we do give ourselves the flexibility to change our tax, because our long-term goal, once we get to a revenue position where we're sustainable without the token tax, our goal is to get rid of it, right? And that, I think, so the simple answer is yes. And the way we do that is we have the key that can enable us to make those changes on the token smart contract, protected in a multi-sig. And that multi-sig makes sure that no one person, no one developer can go make changes without most of the team being on board. And the team is so diverse, and our views are, so diverse. It's a good thing, right, to have counter narratives, to be challenged on ideas, but it's also a good thing for project security, because we don't all agree all the time. Certainly, we all we agree after long debate, sometimes, and what that creates is a dynamic where whatever changes we want to do not only need to be accepted by the community, because we'll be broadcasting those changes and make sure everybody's okay with it. But who's going to be not okay with turning down the tax, right? But we also have to make sure that the folks also that are on the technical side and on the team side, that they agree with that move. So there are like multi layers of process that needs to happen before a change can get made. But we certainly intend to do that. And once we do turn down the tax, and we know that no changes need to be made going forward, we'll burn that key to make sure that no changes can happen from that point on. And that's a big moment, right? Once you burn that key, that's it. That locks your future in. And so we want to make sure that we're in a really good place, and that we are revenue positive, and that we see that we are not just sustainable, but that we've accomplished what we need to accomplish, and then we'll do that. But so yeah, simple answer is yes. That was a lot of words for that. Sorry.
No, that was great. Thank you so much, and I hope that answers your question, Angel.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you for your question. Um, Anyone else has any question? Please raise your hand or write it in the chat. And I'm sorry for keeping you guys so long, Papi and Mister. It's
Oh no, sorry for talking so much, man.
no, it's great. I mean, I can still talk about it. I'm when I'm really interested in something, I can discuss it forever. So, um, yeah, if I'm gonna give it 10 more seconds. If anyone has any question, please raise your hand.
Oh, it looks like people are just asking for links to our socials.
Yeah, so the links will be. Aaron is gonna put together a template with the contest, and all the links will be included in there. Oh, I have a question from Caleb. Caleb is gonna ask you about something about security or safety. That's his favorite topic. So, hey, Caleb.
Booyah, you've been telling everyone about my secret lately. That's not fair. Because of you, I'm gonna change this question for today.
I'm never gonna stop. I'm never gonna stop bugging you regarding this.
So nice to meet you. Is it Mr. or Aaron?
Yeah.
All right. So I would just like to say you got a nice concept in here, but I'm just curious about something. I think while you were having the discussion with Buya, I didn't hear about partnerships. So I'd like to know the kind of partnership you get involved, because truly, no matter how much idea you have, you have to have people among you, I mean, who have the same idea, who are gonna just assist you and get the project have some exposure. You know what I mean? So I'd just like to know the kind of partnership you're gonna be getting along on the project.
That's a great question. And I kind of want to hear your security question, but I get it if you don't want to ask it. But
I'm
I
gonna
think you're
ask
talking
them.
to.
I'm gonna ask.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you want to ask after, awesome. I think you're speaking to real life partnerships, right? Our merchant
Yeah.
integrations,
Yeah.
and those conversations are happening right now, and it's part of our daily job to make sure that we talk to the kinds of, we can't speak to who our potential partners are, because those conversations are really sensitive, and they are big corporate entities, and there are NDAs in place, and we don't want to put those deals at risk. But we are speaking with like big box retailers, with travel and leisure chains, and even currency remittance platforms out there. So we're going across the whole board on anybody that interacts with fiat and has a need to transmit fiat. Those are the folks that we're talking to right now, and I can tell you that largely, hey, let's be real. Not everybody's on board because not all these companies have the same appetite for innovation. Some of them really just want to wait until, somebody else moves first and proves out the model for a few years and then they come in, right? Or a few months to years and then they come in. But we are seeing a lot of interest and a lot of excitement for us to save them money, because the pitch that we go into these guys with, our potential partners, is not like how we innovate or how they can be part of DeFi and have some crypto exposure. Yes, that is things that they're interested in, but at the end of the day, these corporate entities that are public companies, a lot of them, right, they have a duty to their shareholders to make money, or on the other side of that is to save money as much as they can, right? And what we're offering them is the opportunity to save massive amounts on them having to manage cash, physical fiat, right? And for some of these guys, like we're talking about like multi-billion dollars a year in savings. And so that is how we go into these different partner conversations, because that is what they care about. We can talk about all the great ideas and all the ideals that we're trying to do, and we're trying to disrupt and innovate and bring them on the journey with us. Sure, they love that, but what they love more is what we can do from them, how much money we can save them, and that's been working. So we're really excited about those conversations.
I mean, that's really amazing, and I totally understand where you're coming from, but I just want to bring your attention to Africa, right? In Africa, I mean, there are applications like this where you can use cash to get some currency, but so far, I think it's a lot of applications like that have been restricted. Most of the time, most people, if they want to get maybe Bitcoin or probably a different stable coin, there's a way they do it, which means that it doesn't have to pass through the authorities or the government, right? So I just like to know, what are your plans to, I mean, in countries that people can access their bank connected with applications like this? I mean, what are the plans you guys are gonna be having in store for countries like that? Because I believe you want everyone who is involved into the cryptocurrency, no matter where they're from, you want them to get involved in using this application. But you have to also put your consent to people who are having difficulties in getting involved with that. So I'd just like to know what plans you guys have.
Yeah, that's a great question. From taking Africa, for example, right? A lot of the economy there is already on mobile payment systems. And so the way we're approaching that kind of a market is to explore partnerships with those rails, with those payment providers, right? And to be able to integrate into their existing systems. But for the folks that are like what you're speaking to is the unbanked, the folks that don't have access to a bank, or the folks that can't access crypto through their bank for whatever reason, right? Those are the folks that we want to help too, because once we can integrate into the flow of funds with the merchant, what we represent is a onboard into crypto, an opportunity to onboard into crypto without having to go through your bank account, right? Because we're taking fiat from the point of sale, from the store, the merchant, and turning it into digital. And from there, you can do whatever you want, buy crypto, buy Noom, right? Go into the DeFi savings account and earn. All that can happen without ever having to actually touch your bank. Now, that I think is an interesting opportunity. I'll leave it there because there are some counter narratives there as far as what that means for going around the banks. I'll let folks kind of come to the conclusion on them by themselves on that one, but we do think that as part of our mission to make crypto, make DeFi more accessible, that it is important to make sure that the folks that are unbanked still have access to the ability to onboard into crypto.
That's definitely amazing. I love what you guys are doing, and of course, jump into your Telegram and get more information about you know, what you guys are building. And I wish you guys success. And in regards to the security, I would just like to say I love your transparency. So I wouldn't have much in regards to that. So Buya, I'm sorry to fail you this time, man.
No, thank you, man. Thank you for supporting and thank you for your questions, man. You always have great questions. I appreciate you, Caleb. There was Peter. Peter. Oh, here he is. Hi, Peter. Peter Griffin.
What's up?
What's up, buddy?
How y'all doing, guys? How's everything, man?
Good. How's it
Yeah,
going?
doing
Everything
good.
okay?
Yeah, amazing, amazing, amazing. So, I've been listening to the AMA for a while now. I mean, it's been like a long AMA, but it's been
It's been a
amazing.
long one. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, I personally, I give myself to counting most of the projects that have to do with vaults and all these things. And I really feel and need the question I'm about to ask is useful. Basically, we also in the market, there's a lot of people doing something like this, yeah. But we also need something that sounds different. So my question tonight is, what is that particular thing? Can you list at least three of them that makes you so sure about your project and that makes you think people should be into your project? Can you tell us that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing from the DeFi side is our hybrid emissions tokenomic structure, which is to say the ability for folks to stake their Noom rewards to earn revenue share. That sets up a passive income stream for people. I think that's a big value proposition on the DeFi side. And in addition to that, with our next generation canonical vaults, the ability for folks to just simply deposit and forget about their deposit and just, come back later and be like, oh, crazy. They routed my deposit through two different yield strategies at this point, and now I have, X% more than I started with. Cool. Like, you shouldn't have to worry about it. You should be able to just set it and forget it. I think that's a huge value proposition on the DeFi side. Now, on the mobile app side, one of the biggest value propositions there is the ability for us to offer retail users the ability to earn like 100, 500x the interest rate that they can get from, say, their bank's savings account, to offer that natively in the app, right? Just start up the app, get your funds, whether it's through the digital loose change or it's funded from your bank account or your credit card, and go into our DeFi savings account and earn high yield, right? DeFi level yield. We think that's huge because not only are we offering that to folks that may not be aware of crypto or not aware of DeFi or not comfortable with DeFi, we're offering them a Cash App experience, something that's, or maybe if you're in the UK, like a Revolut experience, something that's simple, easy to understand, but still delivers tremendous value. And then from a real world utility perspective, the biggest value proposition that we offer is the ability to onboard into crypto without having to go into your bank account, right? Just take the physical change, the physical fiat that you get, those coins and those bills from your store, and turn those into digital fiat. From there, you can get into any crypto you want. We're hoping it's Noom and that they take advantage of our DeFi savings account there. But we really think that is a huge value proposition, because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is position ourselves based off of everything we've seen in the ecosystem since 2019, especially all the learnings that we've gotten from others' mistakes. We want to bring that into. We want to go after a model that positions us for success with that next trend, right? We want to get ahead of the trend. We want to make sure that once people start to wake up and start to see that the value of crypto shouldn't just be within your walled garden, within your little crypto circles. It should be able to interact with the real world, right? And there are some key analysts out there right now that are predicting that the next big innovation, the next big trend in crypto and in DeFi is to have this real world commerce integration. And that's what we're going after. So, on top of everything I said, I think the number one biggest thing is that we are going for that next phase of innovation today, right? And by the time that folks are like, oh, hey, you're right, this is a thing, we'll already be built out and ready to take advantage of the rush of new capital that's coming in, to take advantage of that real world commerce tie in.
I
Absolutely.
mean, this is amazing. Seems like you guys are solving a lot of problems. That's amazing. Okay, so since Caleb did not ask about the security, I think I should do that, right? So what
Okay, yeah.
All right. So what are your security measures adopted from hacking and bugs? I mean, in NUMS, have you conducted any audits to make it safe?
Yes. So our token contract is audited by CertiK, right? Our code base for our yield engine, which is our vaults, our staking, the APR boosting and our LP, all that, our LP staking, all that is double audited. In fact, actually, some parts of our code are triple audited. Some parts of our code have been audited by QuantStamp. The full code base has been audited by Hetchy, and by the full code base has also been audited by Code Arena. And again, I can't say this enough. We're such big fans of Code Arena, because to call them an auditor is almost doing them a disservice, right? They are like a super deep dive, like they get into things that you would never even hear about from even a tier 1 centralized auditor. C4 is a distributed auditing service, and they give us feedback on so many things that aren't even security related, that it makes us stronger, right? And not only does it make our smart contracts stronger and safe, it makes our dev team a better dev team, because all that feedback is stuff like, hey, it's something we can just keep in our brains and remember it next time. Like when we're building Numizme Pro, remember that one feedback we got from Code Arena? Let's make sure we solve that here. And that, in fact, is how we built our canonical vaults, our next generation vaults. Is based off of a lot of feedback that another project tried to accomplish this, but wasn't successful because there were just too many ways to exploit that kind of a system. So we took that feedback, we looked at that all those potential exploits, and we solved for those. So we do have a multifaceted security approach, and on top of that, the ImmuneFi bug bounty program, which will be starting quite soon. That makes sure that on top of all the security audits and the other optimizations that we've gotten through Code Arena, Hetchy, and CertiK, that on top of that, we constantly have eyes on our code, and we are incentivizing white hats to go in and try to find weaknesses, right? Because for them, finding a weakness means money, and that is the world we live in. But I mean, that is a model that works, right? So yeah, from a security standpoint, I hope that answers your question.
It does. It does. You're amazing. You're amazing. Okay, so I think that's just my questions. I really wish you good luck on your project. And by the way, I love your speech. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Peter. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, if there's no final questions, I think we can let the team go back to work or enjoy their Friday. Guys, I don't know what to say. It's been a pleasure hosting you guys. The amount of work, the amount of effort, the care that you put into the project, the things that are going to be delivered on your roadmap, everything that you guys, even the way you talk, and we know we know that you know what you're talking about. The professionalism behind you guys. I encourage everyone to check out the Telegram, go on the website, read the white paper, ask questions. I pinned the Telegram group to the palace. I'm inviting you guys whenever you you want further down the road, maybe before a big announcement or something like that, for another AMA on the house, to get
Oh man, thank you.
yeah, of course, to get some updates from you guys, to chat a little bit more. I'm gonna do my best to support you as much as I can. Anytime you have something to share with the community, feel free to DM me. I'll pin you guys. Whatever you need, I'm here. It's been a real pleasure for me hosting you today.
It's
Been
been
incredible.
it's been a great, yeah, it's been an honor to be here. Thank you so much for the time, and hopefully we'll see you at poker night.
Yeah, absolutely. So, definitely, I'm gonna. So you said on Thursdays, right?
Yes, sir.
On Thursdays, I'll be there, man. But yeah, no, definitely. I'm probably gonna, if I end up losing, I'm probably gonna lose less money than I lose in real life, which is good. Uh, yeah, some people I know, they have like house games and stuff like that, and it can get pretty crazy.
Oh well, we don't play for real money. We'll give Noom as like prizes for like
Okay,
the
good.
top three spots, but we don't play for
Yeah.
real money. Yeah,
Okay, good. No, that's good. It's less stressful
yeah.
that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate all of you. Aaron, thanks again, my friend, for making this happen.
Cheers.
We'll be in close contact. Anything you need from me, let me know.
Yeah, and I'll get a template over for you for the contest for the community. You can keep out there for the next 24 hours or so.
Please do. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend if we don't talk.
You too, man. Everyone here as well.
Thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
happy
Thank
Friday.
you. Happy
Thank you.
Friday. Thank you, guys. Bye.